What's up, Ottawa? How you guys doing out there? Wow, thank you for having us today. I'm so thankful to be here. We got here yesterday and we got to walk around, and it was so beautiful here. You know, it's funny when people say that about your hometown. It's so beautiful there, and you just don't realize because you live there and you don't notice, but it's a really amazing place. Hi. Well, you guys look beautiful tonight. So my name's Lacey. This is my husband, Josh. And I know most of you probably know me. If you know me from Flyleaf. Is that right? But today I'm not here to promote Flyleaf. I'm here because I'm just a regular girl who grew up in a kind of a medium-sized town and felt very much like a burden to the world around me. And I'm just here to tell you that my story about how God rescued me from suicide. And if he hadn't, I wouldn't be alive. When I was 16 years old, I would have died. And so the thing is that I used to hate Christians. I was an atheist from the time I was 10 till I was 16. When I was 10, I prayed a prayer and asked Jesus into my heart. Somebody gave a message and I prayed. And in that same year when I was 10, my cousin, who was 3 years old, he was like a brother to me, a little brother to me. He was best friends with my little brother. They were the same age. And I babysat him all the time. He loved Ninja Turtles, and he had a spiky mullet, and he was really funny, just a really awesome kid. And he was beaten to death by his stepfather. And that year when he died, I remember saying, well, where is God? You know, I couldn't understand how a loving God would let something like that happen, would let a child be beaten to death. And I decided to stop believing in God. And I also started to feel an addiction to being sad. And I started to write down everything that anyone said negative towards me. I started to write it down and kind of just think about it a lot, and was very just it just had a lot of self-pity and self-hate in a lot of ways, because I felt like a burden. My mom was a single mom with 6 kids, and you know, I just felt like another mouth to feed in my house. And when I went to school, you know, we didn't have any money. I had to wear my brother's hand-me-downs from the thrift store, and I got made fun of a lot for that. And so I didn't feel like, you know, it wasn't everybody gets made fun of, I guess, you know, but it just made it more feel like, well, why am I here? I just feel like I don't fit in. I'm not getting along with anyone, and I'm just a burden in my house. And so I just began to kind of hang out with people who had the same kind of feelings like that. They had those same kind of issues, and they saw the world the same way I did. So it was a lot of negativity, and we dealt with things. I got into a lot of drugs and just partying and relationships. And as an atheist, when life doesn't seem like it's making you happy, you do the best you can to make yourself happy, I guess. And so I just tried to find happiness in relationships and in drugs and even just seeking other religions and trying to find something that made sense of why I woke up every day. And everything that I tried to pursue just left me emptier and emptier and emptier. And you know, later I found out that's kind of what sin does. Sin is poison. You know, God didn't say, don't do this, because he wants to control your life and keep something that's fun from you. He says it because he's saying, this is life, this is death. Choose life so you can live. And the problem is, we all chose sin, so we all taste that poison. And the more that you you taste that, the more that you go for that and try to make that, happiness come out of that, the heavier your heart feels, the more torn up your soul feels, the more exhausted your soul feels. And you just get weighed down by that. It just becomes a big weight. And it's too much to carry. I don't think we were meant to carry it. And that's where it was at when I was 16 years old. I got to the point where I just felt so depressed every day and had a bunch of bad things happening at once, and I would cry myself to sleep every night from the time I was 10 on until I was 16. I couldn't go to sleep unless I cried. So I would sit and think about all the bad things in my life until I cried, and then I could go to sleep. And so it was just a habit for me. And when I finally decided, I just was so worn out from all of that, I just decided I didn't want to wake up anymore. So I planned to commit suicide. And that day, when I went to school that day, I was actually dating a girl at the time, and I went to go say my own sort of goodbyes to my friends, and the people that I thought I loved. And I ended up coming home from school early. There was a girl there that she kind of talked trash about me all the time, and she walked past me and she touched my hair and she said, "You have beautiful hair." And I was so mad at her for saying that. I said, all you care about is hair and shoes and nails, and you don't even know that I'm so messed up inside, and all you care about is what I look like. And I was so angry that I went to the bathroom and chopped off my hair with scissors or whatever. I was having a breakdown, sort of. And when I came home, my grandma was supposed to be at the hospital because my grandpa was in the hospital at the time. And I was living with my grandparents. I got kicked out of my house, my mom's house. Living with my grandparents. I came home from school, and my grandma was there, and she wasn't supposed to be there. And she looked at me and she said, "What did you do to your hair? Something is wrong with you." She saw that something was wrong with me, and she said, "You're going to church." And I was so mad when she said that. I was like, there's no way I'm going to church with all those hypocrites and naive people who don't know anything about life and what's real, and they just act like everything's fine because they don't know what it's like to go through hell and back. And I'm not going to church. I hate Christians. I hate church. I'm not going. And she screamed at me for the next, I don't even know, it was like 45 minutes. It was ridiculously long time she screamed at the top of her lungs. And it was so annoying that I just thought to myself, I'm not going to spend the last day of my life listening to this woman scream at me. So I said, if you shut up, I will go to church. If you just shut up, please. So I ended up going, and I sat in the back, and I hated everyone in the room. And the preacher began to talk, and he started to tell my life story. Somehow he just talked like I was the only person in the room. It was really freaking me out. I was just like, okay, this is weird. I have to get out of here. And as he kept talking, I just felt like something was happening in my heart, like it was breaking, like something was happening, I don't know. But I really wanted to get out of there. And, but I was waiting because my grandma was waiting outside the front. She had parked her van in front of the church doors. She didn't come in because she had a t-shirt on that had some kind of dirty joke written on it. I don't know. It's inappropriate. So she was sitting out in the front of the church, and I couldn't leave. And so I had to wait. And finally the preacher stopped talking, and he starts crying. And I had never seen an old man cry before, and that kind of got my attention. I'm like, what's this guy crying about? And he says, there's a suicidal spirit in the room. And all the hair stood up on the back of my neck. I was like, oh, that's weird. And he said, please come up here and let us pray for you. God loves you, and he has a plan for your life, and he doesn't want you to die tonight. And I thought to myself, there's no way I'm going up there in front of all these Christians and acting like I have some problem that they can fix. So no way, my pride wouldn't let me go. And so I just sat there, and nobody came up, and he looked like maybe he had gotten it wrong. And he went ahead and asked if there was anybody dealing with depression. They needed prayer, and so people came up, and finally they dismissed the church, and I went to the back, and a man grabbed me by the arm really gently. It was a white-headed man, and he said, he looked at me in a way I had never seen a strange man look at me before. I just kind of have a problem, like I guess my mom taught me to be cautious of older men, and I kind of just didn't trust older men. You know, my mom was a single mom. She had been in bad relationships, and I had seen men treat her terrible, and I just didn't trust older men. But the way that this man looked at me was with the most amazing purity, the most amazing love I'd ever seen in any man's face before, especially a stranger. And I was like, why is he looking at me like that? What does that even mean, you know? And he's crying, and he says, the Lord wants me to speak to you, and he wants you to know that even though you've never known an earthly father, that he will be a better father to you than any earthly father could ever be. And I thought, who cares? I don't need a dad. I'm fine. I don't need. But at the same time, I was like, how does he know that I never had a dad? I was like, it's probably just a coincidence, since I look a little crazy with my purple hair shaved underneath and a Pantera shirt on, and he probably just guessed right. And he kept talking, and he was like, he said, God has seen you when you cry yourself to sleep every night. He's watched you. And he loves you so much. And Jesus died to take the pain out of your heart. And he said, can I please pray for you so that God will take that pain out of your heart? And I thought, well, you can try it. I mean, I don't really believe in this, but you can try it. And I had a choice, you know. I could have said no. My pride could have stayed there, and I could have just been like, forget this, I'm leaving. But for some reason, I said, okay, I'm going to try it. You know, I was ready to die. I was ready to die because I was so tired of the pain in my heart. I was so tired of the way that life was just heavy. And I said, you can try it. And so he put his hand on my shoulder and started to pray. And when he did, it was like the God of the universe showed up. And there's no way to explain that to you. It's only something that you can experience, but I'm going to try to explain it, because if I had not experienced it, I never would have believed in God. But he showed up. It was like the God of the universe was in front of me, and there was a few things that happened all at once. One was that I kind of it was like my life flashed before my eyes. I could see everything that I thought was love was really selfish and conditional. Everything that I thought I was loving. I thought I loved my brothers and sisters, and I loved my friends and my boyfriend and I thought I loved deeply. But when I was standing there, it was like immediately I saw all my love was selfish and conditional. And I saw that all my sin, I saw the things that I did that I just saw it for what it was. In front of this holy God, there's a holiness that you can't explain unless you or experience God in that way. And I thought I was a good person. I had my own moral code. I mean, I hated people, but I thought they deserved it. And there were certain people that I thought were cool, but I had my own. I thought I was a good person. I wasn't bad as other people that I thought were worse than me. But the thing is about saying that you're a good person when you stand next to God is like saying, I'm big standing next to the ocean. It's like saying I'm tall next to a mountain. It's just, you can't even imagine what good is when you stand next to God. We're so far from good when we stand next to God. And I thought, if God says to me, go away forever, I thought that would be the right thing for him to say right now. Because I can't stand in front of this. It's too good. I've hated God. I've hated him. I've even tried to talk so many Christians out of being Christians because I told them it was stupid. And here I am standing in front of something so pure. I have to get away. But at the same time, I saw that and understood that, who I was and what sin was, and that I shouldn't be there. It was like God wrapped his arms around me and said, I love you just the way you are. I know you. I'm not shocked by any of it. Anything you've done, I love you. and I will make you new if you let me. And I remember understanding the grace of God, that Jesus died on a cross so that he could be personal with me and love me and have a relationship with me. And in that moment, it was like, I'm not just some God far off. I know you. I've seen you. I'm not shocked. And I love you. And I will make you new if you let me. So that's what this song is about. I searched for something to satisfy the longing in my heart, and every time I come away emptier than before. And now I finally see the reason, 'cause I was made to be yours alone. I'm giving you my life, so take me, 'cause I could never live without you, no. I'm giving you my life, so take me, 'cause I could never live without you, no. There are times I cry myself to sleep at night, only to wake up wishing that I didn't. Now I finally see I was made to be yours alone. I'm giving you my life, so take me, 'cause I could never live without you, no. I'm giving you my life, so take me, 'cause I could never live without you, no. To everything else but you. You bled, you died to be with me. Why would you do something like that for someone like me? And now I finally see the reason, 'cause I was made to be yours alone. Take me, 'cause I could never live without you, no. I'm giving you my life, so take me, 'cause I could never live without you, no. Now I finally see the reason, 'cause I was made to be yours alone. And now I want to introduce Franklin.